Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome back to the lecture of mechanical properties of fluid. In the last lecture we had studied about the atmospheric pressure, how it was calculated. The atmospheric pressure is calculated from the sea level. Suppose this is our earth, and we all know that this earth is surrounded by a thick blanket of atmosphere. This layer of atmosphere is extended up to 400 km from the sea level, but it is highly dense only up to 8 km. So atmospheric pressure was calculated by the same formula. In the last lecture we had seen the formula for the atmospheric pressure is H rho g, and the formula for the pressure exerted by a liquid column is also H rho g. We had calculated this atmospheric pressure only up to a height of 8 km. As we move beyond this 8 km in upward direction, we will see that density of atmosphere goes on decreasing. So the layer of atmosphere is highly dense only up to a height of 8 km. So only this much height is considered, and this pressure is calculated. It comes out to be equal to 1 atmosphere. So we all know that, and this height is taken from the sea level, from the sea. Suppose this is the surface of sea on the earth. So this height is taken from the sea level. This atmosphere, and this height is 8 km. It is extended up to the 400 km. But we will consider only up to 8 km of height. So by the formula of H rho g we had calculated this atmospheric pressure. This layer of atmosphere is going to exert the pressure in a downward direction. So this height is taken from here to here, from the atmospheric layer to the sea level. So when we move from upward to downward, the height goes on decreasing. This height goes on decreasing. So let us see this. In the last lecture we had already discussed this. The height on the surface of the sea level is considered, this sea level is considered as a unique level over here, because remaining surface of the earth is not so smooth, and this is the lowest level. This is also called as zero level. This we had seen. This atmospheric pressure is calculated, and it is having the formula this one. In today's lecture we are going to see absolute pressure and gauge pressure. Before that, you should know how the atmospheric pressure is calculated. Means on the surface of this sea level, on the surface of sea, the pressure exerted by the atmosphere will be maximum. So whenever we move from here the height is 0, and as we move here in downward direction, height goes on increasing, and this atmosphere is going to exert highest pressure on the surface of sea only. So from upward to downward, height goes on increasing. So suppose somebody is standing over here above the sea level. Now it is at a certain height, but the height of this point from the atmospheric layer is less than this 8 km. So at this particular point, pressure will be less as compared to the pressure exerted by the atmosphere on the surface of sea. So that is why as we move in upward direction, as height goes on decreasing, because this height is taken from the atmospheric layer to the sea level. Height is, this is the 0 point, and here it is height. From this point height is measured, and this is the highest level. So as we move in upward direction, this height goes on decreasing. So as height goes on decreasing, pressure also decreases. You all know this formula of a pressure, it is H rho g. So that is why as we move in upward direction, as we move to the hilly areas on the earth's surface, pressure goes on decreasing. This you should remember before studying the concept of absolute pressure and gauge pressure. One more thing that you should know about the forces acting on any object. Let us consider one box. It is placed on the top of a table. This box is placed on the top of a table. What are the forces acting on this box? The very first thing that should come into your mind is the force of gravity, mg. It is acting in a vertically downward direction. But question arises here, why this box is not moving in the direction of gravity? Because it is placed on the tabletop. The surface of the table will not let the box to move in the direction of the gravity. This surface will not let the box to move in the direction of gravity. So here we are having one more concept, that this table is going to exert, and this box is stable in its position. It is neither moving in upward direction nor in downward direction. It means what? The forces acting on this box is balance. So what are the balance forces? One force which we all know that it is gravitational force acting in a vertically downward direction, and the second force is exerted by this stable surface. This second force is called as normal reaction. You might be knowing about these two forces. So normal reaction and the force of gravity will balance each other. That is why the box is not moving in the direction of gravity. Similarly, if you consider three boxes which are placed one above the another. There are three boxes which are placed one above the another. Box 1, 2 and 3. And they are placed on the ground. The lower box is blue box, middle box is orange, and the last box is red box. Why this box 3 and box 2 are not moving? We all know that they all are being acted upon force of gravity, which is directed in a vertically downward direction. So if you are asked to find out the total force acting on the middle box, this middle box, box number 2, how you are going to calculate what are the forces acting on this box number 2 is gravitational force acting in a vertically downward direction. Second force is the normal reaction exerted by the box 1. Third one is the weight of the box number 3 acting on the second box. So first you will recognize what are the forces acting on this box. Then we all know that this box 2 is in equilibrium. It means what? These forces are balancing each other. So here I can say that gravitational force, let the force acting on the box number 2 is F2. Force exerted by the box number 1 is F1. Force exerted by the box number 3 is F3. So can you write down the balancing equation of these three forces? This is the box number 2. Now see here, two forces are acting in a vertically downward direction, which are nothing but the F2 and F3. They are directed in the same direction. F2 and F3. Sum of F2 and F3. And see this F1. It is directed in a vertically upward direction. So in the equilibrium, I can say that F1 is equal to F2 plus F3. So in this way, you need to calculate the total amount of force acting on the box number 2. So these are the various ways to calculate the forces. Nevertheless, we have to calculate the pressure. So just like these boxes, consider the sea surface. Suppose this is the sea and this is the sea level. It is filled with water. So if this layer of water is divided into 3 sections, can you calculate the pressure or the forces acting on the middle layer of the water? Yes, we can calculate. As we had calculated in the terms of boxes, we can calculate it in terms of liquid also. So today we are going to calculate the total force, or we all know that in this chapter mechanical properties of fluid, we will have to talk in terms of pressure only. So instead of forces, we are going to calculate pressure. So our next topic that we have to study today is absolute pressure and gauge pressure. Absolute pressure and gauge pressure acting. Absolute pressure and gauge pressure. After the derivation, you will come to know the meaning of these two terms, absolute and pressure. So what is absolute pressure and what is gauge pressure, that we will discuss later on. Before that, let us consider one container which is filled with liquid, or you can consider that it is a sea. You can consider that it is a sea or it is ocean, anything which is filled. Very simple thing, the liquid that we can take over here is water over here. So suppose there is one container filled with water and water is a fluid. Now we will calculate the forces or the pressure inside a liquid. You should know what are the pressure inside a liquid. So we will calculate the pressure inside a liquid. For that, we will have to assume one imaginary cylinder. You can, instead of imaginary cylinder, you can consider yourself as an example. Suppose you are here at this particular point where the cylinder is placed and you are feeling the pressure exerted by the liquid. Remember that you are not there on the surface of the sea. You are not there on the above, at any point above the sea level. You are not there at any point below the sea level. This cylinder or this observer is completely within the liquid. So we should know what are the forces. When we talk about the pressure, we should first calculate the forces acting on this particular cylinder. And this is an imaginary cylinder. Instead of cylinder, I told you that you can consider your example. Suppose you are here inside a liquid. So let's see the forces acting on it. Before that, let's understand the consideration over here. The water we have taken, suppose it is having a density rho. Let h is the height of this imaginary cylinder. H is the height of this imaginary cylinder. A is the base area of the cylinder. Means this is the area of the base area of the cylinder. We all know that it is a circle. So base area is a circle. You can consider these two as a base, but this is the downward surface, so we will consider this surface as a base. So area of these two surfaces is A. let F1 and P1. Obviously, when you are there inside a liquid, you will feel a force above from the, you will feel the force from a liquid which is there above you, and you will feel the pressure, or you will feel the force due to a liquid which is surrounded you and due to a liquid which is below you. So just like the example of 3 boxes we have taken, suppose this is the middle box. So the upper box is also going to exert a force, lower box is also going to exert a force over here. So let's just highlight this cylinder. It is placed in a liquid. We have not drawn the surface of a liquid over here. We have just drawn the forces acting on it. So the layer of a liquid which is above this cylinder is going to exert a force on the cylinder. That force exerted by the layer of a liquid which is above the cylinder is directed in a vertically downward direction. We all know that it is going to press the cylinder, so it is directed in a downward direction. This force is F1. Second thing, this cylinder is also filled with a liquid. It is also filled with water. So the forces acting inside the cylinder is its weight mg directed in a vertically downward direction. So forces acting on the top surface of the cylinder is F1. We all know that the liquid which is there at the bottom of the cylinder is also going to exert the force. Just like whenever any object is placed on the tabletop is going to exert the normal reaction. So that is why the lower surface of the lower layer of a liquid is going to exert the force which is directed in upward direction. So that is why we have taken this force as F2, and direction of this F2 is directed in vertically upward direction. So how many forces are there acting on this bottom surface? We will have to consider this bottom surface only. The forces acting on this bottom surface of the cylinder is total forces. When you are going to calculate, there are 3 forces. One is F1 exerted by the layer of a liquid above the cylinder. Second is mg exerted by the liquid which is inside the cylinder. And the third one is F2, which is exerted by the liquid which is below the cylinder. You might have, I think you'll have understood their direction. These 2 forces are acting in a vertically downward direction, while the reactional force due to the lower layer of a liquid is directed in a vertically upward direction. So in equilibrium, how you are going to write down the equation? Let us write down the equation for this. F1 and mg is acting in a downward direction while F2 is in upward direction. So total upward force is equal to total downward force. What is the upward force? There is only one upward force, which is nothing but F2 is equal to, what are the downward forces? F1 and mg. So F1 plus mg. This will be our equation number 1. Here we have calculated the total forces acting on the bottom part of the cylinder. Similarly, you can write, you might have seen this formula that pressure is nothing but force per unit area. So force can be written as pressure into area. So I can write this F2 as P2 into A, where P2 is the pressure exerted by the layer of a liquid, lower layer of a liquid on the bottom. F1 will also be written as P1 into A, where P1 is the pressure on the top surface of the cylinder, plus mg at the place of mass. See here this term mass. We all know that density rho is equal to mass per unit volume. Rho is equal to, volume is nothing but base area into height, A into h. So mass can be written as A h into rho. From this equation we will substitute the value of mass over here. It is A h rho into g. As you can see that this A can be cancelled, so please cancel it out. P2 is equal to P1 plus h rho g. This is the very important equation that we have calculated over here. This P2 is the total pressure exerted on the bottom surface of a cylinder. Up. So here we have calculated the total pressure. This total pressure is called as absolute pressure. Please remember this equation. This is the total pressure exerted by the liquid on the bottom surface of the cylinder. Now, suppose this equation is very important. Now we will have to consider the two cases. This equation P2 is equal, what is this P2? P2 is the pressure exerted on the bottom surface. P1 is the pressure on the top surface of the cylinder. H is the height of the cylinder. Rho is the density and G is gravitational acceleration. Now let us consider the two cases. Now suppose first I will write my equation which I have derived just now. P2 is equal to P1 plus H rho G. Now suppose the cylinder is not there well within a liquid. Its top surface, it is just below the surface of a liquid. So cylinder is just below the surface of a liquid. Here how you are going to write down the forces and the pressure on the top surface of this cylinder, as this top surface of the cylinder is not surrounded by any other liquid surface. It is in air. So the pressure acting on the top surface is the atmospheric pressure. So we will denote this atmospheric pressure by P0. So here I can write that P1 is equal to P0 if the cylinder is placed just below the surface of a liquid. So P1 will become atmospheric pressure acting in a vertically downward direction. Second is the weight of a liquid inside a cylinder acting in a downward direction. And P2 is the pressure exerted by the lower layer of the liquid. So what will happen? My equation will become, let us say this P2 as P. So substitute the value over here. P2 will become P. Total pressure on the bottom of the surface is equal to P0 plus H rho G. Means when you are there inside a liquid, suppose this is a sea level now. This is a sea level and you are standing below the sea level at a certain height h. So total pressure acting on it is atmospheric pressure will act obviously atmospheric pressure is going to act. Along with the atmospheric pressure, you will be acted upon the pressure due to a liquid column, which is H rho g. If you further move inside a liquid, this pressure goes on increasing because this height goes from the atmosphere, this height goes on increasing. So whenever we move in a downward direction inside a sea, pressure goes on increasing. So that is why we have written this equation, P is equal to P0 plus H rho g. This equation, this P is called as absolute pressure. Now what do you say about the absolute pressure? It is the total or resultant forces, resultant pressure acting on any object. So resultant pressure P is equal to atmospheric pressure plus the pressure due to a liquid column. Now I can write this equation as P minus P0 is equal to H rho g. This is called as this difference between the absolute pressure and the atmospheric pressure. Remember here, see here, this the left hand side is difference between absolute pressure and atmospheric pressure. So this difference is called as gauge pressure. And our pressure gauge always measure this amount of pressure. When you subtract the atmospheric pressure, you are going to get the gauge pressure, and our device that we are using, gauge pressure device, that gauge pressure device will let you know the gauge pressure, which is the difference between absolute pressure and atmospheric pressure. Means once you add the between absolute pressure and atmospheric pressure is called as gauge pressure. Now suppose the cylinder is not well within a liquid now, and it is not there just below the surface of a liquid, it is on the surface of a liquid. So the pressure exerted on this cylinder will be our equation. How you are going to write down the equation for it? It is above the sea level, you can consider. So this much height will be taken as, see our equation, P2 is equal to P1 plus H rho g. P2 is at this time the pressure exerted on the bottom part of the cylinder will become the atmospheric pressure, because this is the sea level. As I told you that consider this as a sea level. So pressure exerted on this cylinder, on the bottom part of this cylinder, is atmospheric pressure. So our P2 will become P0. P2 is equal to P0. It is just like when you are standing at a certain height above the sea level. Instead of considering cylinder, you can consider your own example. So P2 is equal to P0. On the top of the cylinder, let P1, pressure exerted on the top of the cylinder, let it be P1, and it is denoted as P. Denote this as P. So our equation of pressure, we all know that P2 is equal to P1 plus H rho g. P2, I told you that take this as P0, and P1 is P plus H rho g. So taking this P to taking this H rho g to left hand side, we are going to get P is equal to P0 minus H rho g. It is just like when you go on moving in upward direction, pressure goes on decreasing. It is less than the atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure minus H rho g. See this term. See this equation. So as we go on moving inside a sea, pressure goes on increasing, and as you move in upward direction above the sea level, pressure goes on decreasing. So P0 minus H rho g will be taken. Hope you all have understood the topic.